Check 1 2, testing 1 2. I don't know if I'm live yet. It's been a while for me since I've done this, so, and I didn't prep it or schedule it, so let's just see if I'm live here. I don't know if there's anybody here or not, but hey, Grish is here, so I guess I am live. Welcome. Yeah, I know it's I didn't schedule this, but the title of this stream, I just did a quick YouTube studio, hit live without scheduling, no thumbnail, nothing like that. And but the title is I'm Alive, or live, for lack of a better pun. Yeah, it's been a while, so I figured, what the hell? I picked Saturday. Just got back from a motorcycle ride, hence the hat, because they call it helmet head from being on a breakfast ride. So anyway, here I am. Let me see if I can connect the chat so I could bring the chat on the screen, because since it's not scheduled, H2R Graphics didn't like the key that it normally accepts. So now that we're live, let me see if I can get the H2R Graphics to connect. No, it's telling me that there's something wrong. Hold on, let me try it one more time. That's really weird. Okay, so we are live. Let me copy that. Yeah, it's been a while. Let me pump that in there. It's the same key, so I don't see why it's not working. Let me try it again. By the way, can you hear me okay? What does the mic sound like? Can you see me okay? Oh, geez. Let's see. Add data source. No, it's not liking it. So we're not going to have any comments on the screen today for some reason. Bummer. Let me shut it down. Let me shut H2R Graphics down and try again. Hold on one second. I know you lost me. There we go. I had the key on when I shut H2R. You saw the results. So let me bring it back and see if I can reconnect this. If not, if it doesn't connect this time, I'm not going to waste my time, but let's just see. Yeah, no. Oh, well. That's all right. I didn't really have much in H2R Graphics to show today. We'll get that out of the way. Hello, everybody. I am live for the first time in a long time. Probably since September, October, maybe. How's everybody doing? Let's see who's here. We got Jeremy here. We got Grish here. We have Joe, Tech for Fun. Yo, right back at you. I am doing well, Grish. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, I am doing well. Thanks for the 5 out of 5. I can see and hear you. So, yeah, no, I'm doing well. Dealt with a few things over the last few months, but all is moving in a good direction. So I thank you, for asking. I know last stream was 6 months ago. Wow. Well, I'm slowly but surely making my way back to YouTube. Been releasing a video here or there since the new year, or maybe the last month or so. But yeah, here we are, and figured, what the heck, Saturday I'll go live, because the weeknights are a bit of a challenge with all the streams going on. So I don't even want to attempt to try to sneak one in on a weeknight. So Saturday works for me. Glad to see you all here. And yeah, so what do I want to talk about? Well, is there anything you guys want to talk about? I got new stuff going on here in the studio that I can show you. Talk to you about my network update. it's a work in progress, but I'm moving the entire network away from Unify and over to GrandStream. I've had GrandStream access points in the house since we moved in back in early 2020, well, late 2021 when we took over. I put GrandStream access points in this house, but everything else remained Unify. I still had the Edge Router 6P as the head end, and I had the 3 Unify switches. I had well, I still do, but I can show you that. I have the aggregation, the 10 gig aggregation switch. I have the Gen 2 24 port PoE switch, and I have just a Gen 2 24 port non PoE switch in the rack. So the plan is to migrate over to a complete GrandStream stack. So I started that migration by replacing the Edge Router 6P with the GCC 6010. And it's been working, but I ran into a little bit of a glitch with getting WAN failover to work with a VPN connection. And we could even talk about that today too. When I had originally set up the WAN failover rule, I have 2 ISPs. Both are fiber, both are 1 gig symmetrical. When I first set up the WAN failover rule on the GCC, it was working fine, no issues. As soon as I tried to introduce a WireGuard or an OpenVPN server into the mix, I started to have a couple of hiccups. I was fortunate enough, I did not take the Edge Router 6 out of the rack. I said, I'm going to leave it in here just in case I ever need to fall back on it. And a couple of times I actually, until I figured out what was going on with the GCC or with the hiccups that I was experiencing, I reverted back to using the Edge Router because I couldn't afford to have the hiccups that I was having on the Wednesday night sports shows. I mean, if I hiccup here on a live stream, so be it. But I don't want those kinds of hiccups happening during the live sports show Wednesday evenings. And we were getting intermittent freezes on the remote callers coming in via Zoom. Now, they do come in via Zoom, and then I extrapolate those streams into Zoom ISO so that I could feed them over into the DeckLink Duo card into the ATEM switcher. So I did all kinds of troubleshooting techniques to try to figure out what those hiccups were. But in any event, we can talk about that. Going back to the network migration. So I started the migration, slow process, got the GCC in place. It's back as the head end now since I got the issues resolved with it. And so my next step is to replace the GrandStream switches that are in the rack. Now down here to my left, let me see if I can bring that up on. God, I haven't done the SRT streaming from the phone in a while either. Hopefully that'll work. Give me 1 second and I'll bring it up and I'll show you. Let's see. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? Hello? Let's see if you can see this. There. Perfect. All right. So in the rack, I originally had, I don't know if you can see down under that box, there's a Unify switch on the floor. That's the Unify, that's the original US 16 watt 150 watt PoE switch, not 150 port, I wish. 16 port 150 watts. So I have since replaced it. It was sitting in the rack above that patch panel. Now I have the GrandStream GWN 7802 there. Let me give you a closer look. So I started the switch migration, and then over on the back workbench by the desktop computer, I have a couple of switches, 3 of them. I'll take us over there in a minute. I just have to switch to a portable mic. but I have a GWN 7801P on the desk, and I have a 7803 and a 7816P on the workbench, getting ready to be migrated over. So I could take us over there in a little bit. So I started the process, but over in the rack, I actually have the 7816 is going to go in the rack along with the 7803. That's a 24 port PoE, 24 port non-PoE switch. I got the non-PoE version as a 24 port, and I got the 48 port PoE version. So I guess I could take you over there, but let me just see what we got going on here. Can GramStream act as a layer 2 bridge and do QoS filtering on traffic passing through it? I have a case where I do that with pfSense. Curious if I can replace pfSense. pfSense can replace pfSense I have deployed for QoS. I know GramStream is super big on their QoS. They do optimization for SIP, obviously, because they're a PBX company. But I don't see why not. Because they're, I mean, if we go into, where is it? Let me bring up the GCC and take you into that area. There's a lot you can configure in there. Let me just bring that up on the screen. All right, let's flip over. All right, so I'm in the GCC, and if we come over down to traffic management, under QoS, you can see you have the general settings, so you can play with the bandwidth. You have your APP class settings, and there's lots in here. You can set up your rules, and then you have your SIP prioritization. So I have not played with this, but let's see. If you set up a class rule, you got your protocol type, your source, IP address, source port, destination. So yeah, I'm thinking, David, because they do have a pretty intense QoS section that, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what it is you're doing with pfSense, but I guess I don't use pfSense, so I guess the person to ask with that would be Jay, because I know Jay came from pfSense, and maybe that's something he can test now that he's got both pfSense and the GCC in his possession. So, but anyway, I know that probably did not answer your question, but yeah. Let's see. Joe's question: are you feeling any hesitancy about GramStream after the issue you mentioned and the setup experience with Jay had? Absolutely not. 100% no. They are solid. I have, like I said, I have the access points in place for 3 years. Haven't had a single issue with those. I have several GramStream. I've been starting now over the last couple of months to push GramStream out to my clients. So I'm not even putting Unify out to my clients anymore, unless there's a specific reason why I would. But off the top of my head, the basic networks that we're setting up for residents, I don't see a reason not to use the GramStream stuff. I've had zero issues. The most recent one I set up for a client was 2 weeks ago. That's actually up and running, where the house has service, ISP service. Yesterday I did a trim out install, 4 GramStream access points, 2 GramStream switches, and a GCC at the head end. So to answer your question, absolutely not. no disrespect to anybody, to Jay or anything, but I think part of, if I could say this, and I think Jay would agree with me if he were here, part of the issues Jay was experiencing, in my opinion, was the fact that he didn't have enough familiarity with the GrandStream ecosystem. So he was basically just unboxing and poking through the interface and really without knowing where anything is. But in all fairness, I mean, he did get through it. The very next day, he texted me in the morning and he told me that he was having one of the issues with the access points was he had a bad cable. Once he replaced the cable, that ironed out. So, I mean, he had kind of a couple of things going on, but I think the biggest thing was his lack of familiarity with the interface and the ecosystem. I think, to be honest with you, if he had spent an hour to an hour and a half on his own offline and then went online and did that same stream, it would have gone much, much, much smoother. But just my opinion. So let me see. Let me go through the questions. Sorry I can't put these on screen. I'm not sure what's going on with my H2R. All right, so Joe says, I feel like the colorful light up ports on Ubiquity is what really made you move to GrandStream. Yeah, you know me, Joe. I'm not into all that fluff and stuff and hype. I want things that work, that tell me, is there anyone in the chat here tonight or this afternoon that could make an argument with me that would say having ports that light up on a switch adds anything to has any impact whatsoever on network performance? I say no. Anybody could pose an argument to me, I'd be glad to hear it. So I'm just not into all that. But I don't know that was the reason. That moved me to GrandStream. I just don't like, I'm not a fanboy, and I'm not going to mention names, but I just don't get all excited and yeah, I can't believe it. Oh my God, look what Unify did. That's not me, Just give me something that's solid, that works. Anyway, Grish says in our church, RTMP needs to be 100% priority. We have a 15 meg upload, 70 per 80 users. pfSense handles it perfectly, but I don't like the direction pfSense is going. Okay, fair enough. Again, I don't use pfSense. I dabbled with OpenSense a couple of years ago for a short period of time and just realized to myself that, excuse me, for my own home lab, if I dabbled in the home lab, I don't know that I would ever go with OpenSense or anything like that with customers because I just don't have enough of a familiarity with that OpenSense and pfSense open source stuff. So to me, I just want to go with a tried and true retail product. I know that may sound lame, but I'm being honest. Let's see. I have 0 drop frames. I'm just reading the comments from YouTube Studio. Via RTMP, with RTMP, via pfSense, QoS, even with our upload max, 100%, but for long periods of cool. Joe's question is, what am I doing for security cams for clients these days? Not getting a lot of calls for that lately. We are doing a lot more sound these days, along with the networking, which is kind of fun. It's kind of something new and different, just a change of pace. But as far as security cams, I mean, Uh, the last large security cam we did was a couple of months. Cam install we did was a couple of months ago, but the client himself picked out the entire system, and Jesus, what did he go with? I forget. I can't think of the name of the system off the top of my head, but if it comes to me, I'll mention it. Um, so yeah, I mean, I have a mixture of Amcrest and Synology in the house here. In fact, I should be getting the new Synology. They reached out to me this week. They want to send me their new wireless indoor cam. I think it's the CS 400. Let me see if they have it online yet. And I'll bring it up. Hold on, if I could find it. Let's see. Surveillance. I'm just going to see if they actually even have it. I don't see it. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure I have the right model. They have a CC400 wireless. Maybe it's not the CS. Give me 1 second. Oh, it's the CC400. Yep. So this one here, let me bring it up. So it's this one here. It's an AI powered Wi-Fi camera. It's new. It just got released March 19th, I believe. I don't know much about it. He asked me what I would do, and I said, as far as a video, it looks cool. 4 megapixel and 125-degree wide field of view, two-way integrated audio, IP65 weatherproofing. He asked me, would I do a review video? So my honest answer was eventually, but not initially, because I can't review it until I've given it a test run. So as I scroll through the comments for you to see, I guess what I'll do is a simple, quick unboxing and then try to get it set up with Surveillance Station, go through the setup process, and then give it a test run for a couple of weeks, and then maybe come back and do a review on it. So they were satisfied with that. So I should be getting that in the next couple of weeks, I guess. But in any event, so let's go back to the comments for a minute, and then I do want to show you what's going on with the network and stuff. So yeah, but I know that didn't answer your question much, Joe, but I'm not getting much of a call these days to do it, and I haven't really been pushing it either. So, and David says, actually, we usually have about 100 to 120 clients on the network, especially Sundays. 15 megabit upload works good for me, but some people complain about the slow upload. So, hey, Tony, I need a new switch like what Jay picked up. I will reach out to you offline. Yes, absolutely. I'd be happy to help you, Grish. In fact, you know what? Jay mentioned a lot about, or I think the concept after his stream was that Grand Stream's so much cheaper than Unify. I'm not necessarily in 100% agreement with that. Only because I gave Jay my discount. I didn't mark anything up for him. So if you compared retail to retail, I really don't think it's all that different. Like, for example, let's switch over to this screen here. And I still remember how to do this stuff. Go figure. Let's take a look for argument's sake at like a Unify access point, and we'll compare it. So let me go to UI.com. I don't know off the top of my head the Unify prices anymore because I haven't bought any in a while. But let's look at I know they have the 7s are out, but let's look at the Unify 6. You got the 6 Pro for $159, and you got the U6 Plus for $130. So let's just say ballpark between, two of their popular access points are between $130 and $160. And if we go to just the retail supply house to get Grandstream stuff online, if we look at the 7662, you're at $122 right now. On sale, looks like regularly is $139. And then if we pull up the GWN 7665, now this one is regular 129 and it's 112. So, I mean, let me just check the 7665E. Yeah, it's the same. It comes up the same. I don't know. I mean, let's look at one of the Unify switches. I don't think there's that much of a difference. Let's go with the. Wow, they're still selling the aggregation switch at $269. Let me see what we got. If I can just get this, I think the standards now were the old Gen 2s, if I'm not mistaken. Switch, silent fanless cooling system. Where's the PoE version? Don't they have a standard with PoE? Maybe not. Again, I am so detached from the Unify product line these days. Every once in a while, I just log into the controller, go through my customer sites just to stay sort of familiar with the interface. 24 port layer 2 switch. All right. So 24 port layer 2 switch, $225. Let's go over and look at something comparable with Grandstream. I believe their 7803 is 24 port. Non-PoE. So the 7803 non-PoE, which would be similar to the standard Unify standard, is $183. So it's actually a little cheaper. Regularly $239, and the PoE version is $303.21. So in any event, I'm not necessarily 100% sure. I think Jay's forgetting that I gave him the discount. So yeah, with the discount, it was considerable amount of difference. So, but yeah, David, I would be happy to help you out and give you that the same whatever I get it for. So, well, have at it, Joe. Have a blast. So, Grandstream has cams. Yeah, they do, but I'm not saying they're not good, but I just don't think that's not their forte, and I'm just going to leave it at that. How's that? AI powered everything. AI powered toilet seat. Yes. Terrell, hey, Terrell, welcome in. I'm waiting on the AI powered toaster. Maybe it's more cost effective than Unify. I mean, literally, he got a good deal. I mean, he got a lot for what he spent. So, Todd, Tony, is VoIP Supply where we can purchase Grandstream products for home networks? Yes, if you so choose. Absolutely. And welcome to the stream, Todd. So, anyway, um, one of the features that Jay was talking about in his stream when he was in the GCC, I wish he was here because I wanted to show this particularly for him. Um, but underneath, let me switch back to this. Where is it? Underneath the AP management section, it seemed like there was a little confusion over pair AP and takeover AP. And the difference is basically if you're setting up a brand new access point, never been adopted to your GCC, you're going to use pair. If you have GCC, if you have access points, Grandstream access points that are being currently managed by another controller, not the GCC, but it could be the cloud controller. It could be another Grandstream access point. Like that's the situation I have in my home, because when I put all my Grandstream access points in place, I was still running Unify routers and, well, an edge router and Unify switches. So I made one of my 3 access points the master controller, and the other 2 were slaves. So if I wanted to, at this point, take over the access points that are currently in my house, if I wanted to adopt them to the GCC, that's what takeover is. Takeover will take over and adopt access points or that are being currently managed by another controller. So if I were to click on it, you'll see that 2 of my access points show up. Now, all 3 aren't showing up because these 2 are the slaves. The master's not going to show up and allow you to take it over. But I could take over 2 of them at this point if I wanted to. Now, I haven't done that because my plan is after I get through the complete network migration over the next week or 2, I hope. We have one sports show coming this Wednesday, and then I'm taking the week of April 3rd, that Wednesday off. So I'll have a good solid 2 weeks where I can mess with the network and, and not feel stressed and rushed about having to get it up and all the kinks worked out between shows. But in any event, I haven't taken over my 2 access points because I don't plan to keep them. They're still Wi-Fi 5 access points, and I plan to move the house to Wi-Fi 6, even though I really don't need it. The Wi-Fi 5 speeds are fine, but it's just kind of, I don't want to fall too far behind out of the, that constant perpetual upgrade loop. So anyway, but that's basically the difference between pair and takeover. So, and again, I mean, you just learn it by diving into the system and becoming familiar with it and reading up on it if you don't understand what it is. So too bad Jay wasn't here because I did want to mention that to him. But okay. All right. I think if it's okay with you guys, comments seem to be slowing down a little bit. I'd like to take you guys on a tour of kind of what's new or what I've been up to here in the last couple months that I've been away from YouTube. But so yeah, let's do that. Let me bring this up. Let me put on a wireless mic. Hopefully. Hopefully that'll be okay. Check 1, 2. Guys, can you hear me now with the wireless mic? Check 1, 2. Let me know before I get up and walk away from here. If someone could just say how the audio is. Is it loud enough? Is it quiet? What? I don't think Jay's out shopping for a new 4K TV, Joe. Thanks, Grish. All right, let's see if... There we go. Lighting might not be the greatest as I move away from the desk, but you'll get the gist. I'll try not to make you guys drunk. So one of the new things I got is I have that PTZ cam set up. I use it as a side cam shot for Les when we're running a show. The other new thing we got in the studio is the teleprompter. I think it's from Prompter People. Yes, it's a Prompter People teleprompter. Came with the screen, and it's been working out well for him as the host. We don't use it for any kind of text scripting. It's so that he can see the program feed and make eye contact with his remote guests. And over here, I got a mess going on. Actually, I cleaned out a lot this week, but we got all the road gear, which we haven't been on the road yet, but we got all the road gear going. Hope you guys can see this. But here's my workstation, and there's the GWN 7801P right now. That took the place of, I had a Unify 8-port light switch here. So I've migrated away from 2 of my Unify switches for Grandstream. I have not had an issue. Those have been in service now for about a month and a half. My long-term plan is once I get the network, which is behind this wall, once I get the rest of the main core of the network upgraded, my main goal is to eliminate that switch on the workstation. And one of the projects I did was I added these 12 ports here, and there was nothing there. I cut it open, I ran 12 more lines, which have to still be terminated in the eaves of the attic over to, again, behind this wall where the rack is. What I have here is this one on the top is the 7803P. That's the 24-port switch that's going in the main rack. And then this one down here is the GWN 7816P. This is 48 ports of PoE. It's a layer 3 switch. The first 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 8 ports right here are PoE 802.3BT PoE, and then the rest are AF and AT. And then we have 6 SFP plus ports here. So I don't really need the capability of layer 3 in this network. I bought this switch for a couple of reasons. One, the main one is it's quiet. Down in that box here, right here, I have a 7806P, which was my original switch that I was going to put in the rack, but it is as loud as a son of a bitch. And I even tried doing a fan replacement with the Noctua fans, and it didn't work. It was just getting all kinds of error readings, and some fans were spinning, some fans were not. Even though I tried to match up the fan spec for spec, it didn't work. So I put the stock fans back in. It's back in the box. I have no idea really what I'm going to do with that switch, but it's annoyingly loud, and I didn't want that up here in the studio. So I bought this because, again, number one, it's quiet and it's got 3 fans in it. But the SFP plus ports were the key because they're going to take the place of my 10 gig aggregation switch, the Unify aggregation switch. So let's make our way over to the closet. I'll throw a light on. It's a mess, guys, so don't mind. So right now there's my messy closet, and that's the new rack that I assembled a couple of weeks ago. That's from Strong. That is a 27-inch rack. That's a cool rack because it's got up on the top It's got the venting, and you can add fans to it. You can add glass doors on the front and side panels on the side, um, panel in the back as well. It's also on casters. But what I'm going to do is I built a base, an 8-inch high base out of wood that I spray painted black. So what's going to happen is that rack's coming off the wall. All that gear is coming out. The two items up on the top right, those are Bose amplifiers that are powering outdoor, a pair of outdoor speakers in the front porch and a pair of outdoor speakers in the back porch, 1 amp per pair. Then I have my original DS216 plus 2 NAS. That's my backup modem from AT&T. And then you see the GCC sitting here on top. There's the edge router in the rack, but it's on, but it's not in use right now. Here's the 10 gig switch, and then there's the 24 port non-PoE and the 24 port PoE. So my thought process here is take all 3 switches out, replace these 3 with those 2 over there on the desk, whereas I'll get my 10 gig networking happening between my computer and my NAS and what have you, using the SFP port plus ports on the 7816. So that takes this out of service and suffices. And then I'll have the 24 port non-PoE switch in the rack, and then the 48 port switch as well in the rack. So I'll be cutting down on switches. Then I got my Grandstream UCM 6302, 2 CyberPower UPSs, UNMS server on the right, spare on the left, DS 920 plus, DS 1621 plus. I got to add that extra drive, but right now it's just not in the mix. So all this is coming out. That's going there. And then I'm going to redo the entire rack. And hopefully I got 3 shelves. So I'm going to put the GCC on one of the shelves with probably the DS216 plus 2 next to it. I'm going to try to get the other 2 NAS boxes in the rack. So I just want to clean this whole thing up. And again, in the process, migrate over to a full Grandstream stack. But I probably will leave the edge router in the rack as a backup if needed. So, all right. Let me walk you back. Again, try not to make you dizzy. And switch. Okay. Shut that. Pull that over. Check 1, 2. I should be back on the studio mic. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. Good volume. I can hear enough. That's okay. That's on the wireless. Thank you, Grish. I like that 12-port patch panel thing you have on the desk. I'm assuming you mean the faceplate with the 12 ports on it. Amazon, I believe. I originally bought, hold on, I'll be right back. I'll show you what I originally bought for there. I originally bought this. This is an on-wall patch panel, keystone patch panel. Um, Let me see if I can give you guys a better look. There we go. So I bought this originally. This was my original idea to put this on the wall. But I didn't like it because there just wasn't enough clearance between the wall with the 12 cables to get enough of a natural bend in the cables without putting too much pressure on them. I could have used this if I decided to build out the, like maybe put a piece of wood on each side to build, so this allows a little bit more clearance off the wall. But I didn't like the concept of doing that, so I went with the other route of just doing it with I believe it's a 2-gang. Yeah, it's a 2-gang low voltage old work box with the 12 port keystone faceplate on it. So actually it's much cleaner the way it is. So, but it worked out. It's probably not any louder than your Dell R710, but I mean, I'm in a studio and I run the show up here, and I wasn't even so worried about me making videos or doing live streams as much as it was just annoyingly loud. And then when you plugged a couple of PoE devices, like a couple of access points into it, forget about it. It was just like, I want to take a gun to it and shoot it, and its freaking thing is brand new. Target practice. So, let's see. Todd asks, where did you purchase that strong 12U rack? I was considering NavPoint. So I'm a Snap One dealer distributor, and I bought it through my distributorship, but I can get them for you if you want. Let me just put the link to the Snap website in the chat, and then you can go browse, and if you want to call me for pricing, I could have it shipped directly to you. That's no issue. Just give me 1 second. I'd be happy to sell people GrandStream products too. I mean, I don't know that I'm always going to like offer everything at my price with no markup. I do that for friends, obviously, but I mean, I can promise you I'll give you a little better price than you would pay retail. So, in any event, let me see what that Snap. Okay, you can look at racks and anything else you want, Todd, on this website here. And like I said, if you see anything you like and you're interested, just, shoot me an email or a message and work something out with you. So let's see. Anyway, so yeah. So that's what's been going on here. Been having some fun with the PTZ camera. I use it for the show, obviously, but I said, what the hell? It's a PTZ camera. So I set up this over the shoulder shot as well. Lighting isn't that great, but it serves the purpose. What do you guys think of this angle? And the other angle that I have on it is, so over here towards that side, when we do the show, Joni, which is Les's fiance, sits over here, and we swing this mic around to her, and she reads the comments to the viewers. So what I've been doing the last couple of shows is when he goes around and thanks us, I spin the PTZ over to where Joni would be seated so that she can wave and say hello. And then when he gets to me, I spin it back to me, wave, and then typically we normally spin it back to his station there. So, but I'm having fun with it. Wish the lighting was a little bit better on the shots on me and on Joni, but for the 2 seconds that we're on screen, it works. So, yeah, what else? What else do I have going on? I got this. Been wanting to get a video going on it. Hold on, let me show you. Maybe I'll give you a sneak preview online here. All right. So I got this guy down here, this big white flying saucer. Let me grab it. Okay. So we got this guy right here. Let me switch to maybe this camera, better view. So this is the Grand Stream GWN. Oh, no, sorry, not GWN, GSC 3516. It's a SIP speaker / intercom. And I just started playing with it this week. It's really cool. So you can do SIP paging. You can integrate it. Let me go back to me. You can integrate this with your PBX. You can do multicast paging. You can set it up as an extension, just like a regular phone. You could do two-way intercom. It's also a Bluetooth speaker too, as well. It's PoE. It fires up with PoE. So I just started to explore this week, and uh-oh. Oh, I see what happened. Never mind. I looked at the stream and I saw it went blank when I switched to the top-down camera for a second. Yeah, so pretty cool actually. Is the speaker weatherproof? Well, let's find out. I believe it's made for indoors, like to use in hospitals, schools, office buildings. But let me pull up and see what the specs say. Let me switch over. So there should be under Unified Communications. $35.16. So what does it say? SIP multicast talkback speaker. 3 directional microphones, 1 omnidirectional microphone. 4.2 meter pickup distance. Full duplex speakerphone with HD acoustic chamber. Dual band 802.11 ABG, N and AC Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. 10100 with PoE. Let's look at the data sheet. Not sure, Joe. Let's see what it says on the data sheet. Let's see if I can make this bigger for you. Let's go to the environmental section, see if it says anything. There you can see some of the specs. .802.AF, AT class 4, temperature and humidity. There's your operating temperatures. Humidity 10% to 90% non-condensing. I honestly don't know. Let me see if there's anything else here. I'm pretty sure it's designed for indoor use. Yeah. I'll find out though, Joe. I'll ask my Grandstream contact, but I'm pretty sure it's used for designed for meant for indoors. Um, Let me plug it in. All right. So, the one thing I didn't do, see, I'm out of practice. The one thing I didn't do is bring up something to drink. I'm getting a little dry mouth. So, hold that thought for 1 second. Let me see. Do I have anything in here? Yes, I do. Nope, wrong one. Put it in the wrong spot. There we go. I'll be right back. I need to go down and get myself a little Crystal Light lemonade. So, if Jeremy can do this and Jay can do this, I can take a quick 1 minute intermission. Be right back. Hello, I'm back. Thank you for your patience. I just needed to get little lemonade stuff. So, any event, so this thing should be booted up, and I should be able theoretically to connect to it via Bluetooth. So I go to the Bluetooth on my phone. And here it is. And it says it's connected. So technically, I'll play one of my own videos so I don't have to worry about playing copyrighted music. Let's see.
What exciting benefits do you get as a Hertz Gold Plus rewards member.
You get to skip the line and go right to your car.
1000bulbs.com has a full line of electrical products for your next project.
Now we're at the dashboard. So we have the one AP online. You can see here, we don't have any clients. To the right, it's showing the channel. So the Bluetooth piece of it works. So that's cool. Let's see. Let's take a look at the UI. Yeah, it doesn't sound horrible. It doesn't sound horrible. Apparently you could set them up like in groups so that you can shoot out a page to like multiple of these devices, like say throughout an office building or a school or what have you. Set it up right in your PBX if it supports multicast. So let me find out what the IP address is for this. Bear with me. I'll pull it up on screen in a second. Just don't want to expose anything. All right. All right, I'm back in the GCC, and I'm in the Network Nodes tab, and I'm going to come down to Clients. This should be, where is it? Those are my offline. Let me clear the offline clients. It should be this guy right here. 11. Okay. All right, so it obviously supports up to 16 SIP accounts. Shows the network status, the system info. I don't have any accounts set up. I don't have anything done with this yet. I believe under, yeah, there you could set it up to listen for a multicast address here. Maybe we could try to do that. Network settings. There's your Ethernet settings, Wi-Fi settings, Bluetooth, AirPlay and Miracast. Even has open VPN settings. And you got your system settings. So, I mean, for a speaker, it's got a lot of options here. Music, playback cascade. I haven't played like with any of this zone music. I have no idea what any of this is. But for, I'll say laughs and giggles. I don't want to offend anybody. For laughs and giggles, why don't we see if we can set up a multicast paging? But what are you guys up to? Let's make sure. Where are you? Let's see. Let me just quickly look at the comments. Oh, Joe, that was from, no, I still don't have, no. That's funny. Joe wrote, bummer it's not outdoor. I wanted something like this that I could yell at people who come into my yard. I'm sure there's something out there, but were you online, Jay, when I had the spec sheet up? I wasn't sure because it listed a lot of the different things it could handle. Let me see. I got it up over here offline real quick. Let me just see. Well, might as well bring it back. And there's the protocols and standards. And then let's go to here to voice codecs and capabilities. I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm assuming it would be under here, Jay. Under this section here. So anyway, let's get into my PBX. All right, so I'm in my GrandStream UCM 6203. And where is it? I believe it's under call features. Yes, I think that's it right here. Let's see. We're going to add. Yeah, this is it. Let's call it multicast test. Nope, doesn't like the space. And multicast paging. Extension. Let's make it 9,000. Maximum call duration. The maximum allowed duration of a call in seconds. Default value 0. It means no limit. Okay, we'll leave that. That's fine. Multicast address and port. All right, so we'll give it a multicast IP address. I believe the range is, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys I'm sure know it out there. I believe it's somewhere between the 224 and the 239 range, but we'll see. So we'll go with something in the middle. And let's go with port, one that I know is not used on my network. Let's go with 9500. And then, it automatically selected all of my extensions on the UCM. So I guess you can pick and choose if you do it under select. That's fine. I'm only going to test it with the WP826 here on the desk. All right, so let's go ahead and say save. And apply. And now let's jump back over into the speaker. And where was that? Was it under calls? Nope. Phone settings, multicast paging, multicast listening, and let's put in the address we just set up, 238.0.0.1, oop, not 71, colon, and the port number, and then we got the label, I don't know, just call it test. Let's say save and apply. That's it, I guess. We should be good to go. Let's check it out. So let's pick up. By the way, they have to be, for multicast to work, the speaker and the source has to be on the same subnet. So let's call 9000 9000. Yeah. I thought I left out a zero. Hello? Sorry for the echo. Sorry for the echo. But it worked. You saw the call on screen. I think it came up on the screen. So yeah, pretty cool. And you could set up multiple of these guys. Again, like I said, throughout small offices, hospitals, schools, whatever the case may be. So yeah. Let's go back, look at the comments. Let's see what we got. I wonder if the speaker will handle, oh, I read that already. But AES is really just uncompressed audio over multicast. Hello, Alonzo. Welcome in. Good to see you, or hear you, or have you here. And no, I'm not drinking. Trust me, this is really Crystal Light lemonade. Can you put an auto answer extension on the speaker? I'm thinking you could put an extension. Yes, you could set it. You could set it up as an extension on the PBX, and then if you set that extension to shoot directly to a voicemail that has a pre-recorded message, that's the way you would do it. So I'm going to say yes. Let me go into here. Let's see. Let's go into what extension do I know has a message? Let's see. The question is, in theory, I'm pretty sure you can do it. Doing it live, I'm not sure. But what the hell? Let's add an extension. Actually, I have, well, this is unregistered. So I have extension 1011. Sure it's unregistered? It says unregistered, but I don't know what the SIP password is, so let me just make it something I'll remember. Let's contain each. Yeah, it does. It has. Okay. Now let's say save. Apply changes. Come on. Let's go back over. Let's go to the accounts. Account name. Let's just call this 1011. The SIP server is 172.21.2.2. SIP user 1011. We'll make this the same. Pipe in the password. That doesn't look great. Hold on a second. All right, whatever. Say save and apply. And let's see if it's registered. Did it not register? It did not register. Why? What am I doing wrong? Extensions created 1011. Copied the password. I don't care if you see the password. All right. We'll go into here. Server address is correct. Oh, that's wrong. So it copied it, but it didn't paste it correctly. That's weird. Hopefully that'll do it. There we go. That was weird. So I copied it, but it still pasted the link from the Snap web portal. Weird. Okay, so now, theoretically, I should be able to at least call it. I don't know what kind of feedback we're going to get, but. Okay, so what it did was it went right to the voicemail box directly. Maybe it's smart enough to know. I'm not sure, but it went right to the voice box. So I'm assuming you could set up your voice message and you're good to go. So that was easier than I thought. I thought you'd have to just, yeah. So it works, Joe. So, I know I wasn't kind of actually speaking loud. I was just kind of mumbling as I was configuring, Jay. So I apologize. This is my normal speaking voice out when I'm streaming. So Joe wrote the use case would be instead of intercom, if I wanted to call a number and have it auto answer and put my voice through the speaker. If I wanted to call a number and have it auto answer and put my voice through the speaker. But I should be able to do that. Did I configure something wrong? I should be able to do that. Let me see how I have the extension set up. Presence available. I'm not forcing it to voicemail. That's weird. Interesting. Now you got me. Now I want to get to the bottom of this. Did I do something with this 1011 at one point? See, now I'm mumbling again, Jay. I apologize. Features. Oh, this is it right here. I must have been playing with this extension at some point with something else. So I have this extension always set to forward to, and then it goes right to the voicemail. So we wanted to go to the extension. We don't want it to forward though. We just wanted to. It can't go to itself. So I don't want it to forward. None. Okay. Duh. Save. Apply changes. Come on. Come on. You can do it. There we go. So now, what is it? Mumbling again. Sorry, Jay. You see the smoke coming through the hat? Now what is it saying? Now it's telling me the person at extension 1011 is on the phone. Really? Interesting. So it's available. Sorry, guys. I hope I'm not boring you. Anyway, theoretically, you should be able to call this. Let me see. Well, no, I'm not going to bore you with it anymore. I was going to pull up the documentation because I know you could set it up as an extension and call it. But anyway, Jay, no offense. I don't know how you do this every week. So, let's see. Holy crap. An hour and 20 minutes. So, Joe, I'm pretty sure your use case can be done. I'm going to play with it a little bit more when I have some more time. It should not be giving me that message. It can be set up as an extension so that you can call it. I'm just rereading your question. Sounds good here. Grish says, what's the difference between forward to voicemail and forward to... on the Grand Stream system, star 98 puts you into... Like, you can call into any... So you could force an extension to go to any... you could force an extension to go to its mailbox, but star 98 will allow you to, from any extension, call. And when you dial, you could pick up, like I can pick up this phone, dial star 98 manually on this phone and punch in the voicemail box that I want to access, like say the one on the workbench or the one in the server room. So what I was doing was I was forcing extension 1011, 1011 to go automatically dial star 98 for me so I didn't have to do it. So then I'd be able to punch in whatever mailbox I want to access remotely. Jeremy says, surprised you're still going. I had to drop for a few driving back home now. Well, yeah, I'm pretty much done for today. I mean, it's been a while, and an hour and 23 minutes is pretty good for making a comeback stream. I hope the answer made sense, David, but that's it. That's the difference. So yeah, any last questions or comments on the upcoming network migration? Let me switch back to me. This guy now, Joe, you got me. You're going to it's going to drive me crazy until I figure it out. You know that, right? But that's why you asked me that. To drive me crazy. So, thank you, David. Looking forward to getting started with the network migration. We really didn't get a chance to talk too much about what was going on with the GCC hiccups. I guess I can give you the short of the long on that, and then we'll call it a day. So in the GCC, when I set up the WAN failover, it works, and it works fast. It's quick to switch over, and then when the primary ISP comes back online, it's quick to switch back automatically, which is really, really nice. Then I added, a couple of weeks later, I wanted to set up WireGuard, a WireGuard server, which I did, and it was working. And it was working well. But what I didn't know it was doing, it was messing something up with the GCC, whereas if it wasn't for the sports show, I would not even know there's a problem. It was freezing the remote video callers. The remote callers, every 15 to 20 seconds, they would have a quick freeze, and then it would try to catch up, and even their voice would speed up, right? And it was happening pretty chronically, and it wasn't cool. And it occurred to me that it started to happen after I made that configuration change. So now I was but I didn't realize initially that it was the GCC. I thought it was something with Zoom ISO. So I went out to the Zoom ISO website, and sure enough, there was an update. So I said, all right, let me download the software update for Zoom ISO and cross my fingers and hope that solved the problem. Well, it didn't. But like I said, if it wasn't for the sports show, I would not have known, because in downloading, streaming, like watching TV or music or anything, there's no other issues going on other than when it's a two-way video call. So I guess it's the issue on the upload side. I don't know, because like we have no blips, no buffering watching TV, even when that problem was happening. But then I started to so I did a persistent ping, and I noticed it was dropping, ping responses were failing, kind of it aligned with how often the video calls were freezing. So I was like, okay. So long story short, spent a week back and forth with GrandStream support on a trouble ticket. Tried all kinds of things from process of elimination, and it's just too much to even discuss. GrandStream even came on and did a remote support session to take a look at the configuration. I sent them the logs. They never responded to the logs. There were a couple errors in the logs, and I had a conversation with Joe. Those errors to me are Greek, because they might make sense to some of you guys, but not to me. So after spending a half an hour on a remote session with me, GrandStream support basically said to me, factory reset the machine. I said, I've done that several times. They said, but yeah, are you restoring from a backup? And I said, yes. And they said, try factory resetting it, but rebuilding the box from scratch. That's exactly what I didn't want to do, because I have tons of, let me go into it for a second and I'll show you why I didn't want to do it. Just let me make sure I'm not exposing anything. Okay. Let's go. Under networks, I have all my VLANs set up. Under static bindings, I have pages and pages and pages of DHCP reservations that I couldn't export. So I had to recreate all of these from scratch. Under the firewall tab, I have all my traffic rules. And again, this is a case where the rules are really easy to create, but like it would be nice if I was able to not have to recreate the same rule over for, it's just ridiculous. So that's where groups or aliases would come into play. And I'd also like them to add the ability to duplicate a rule and just be able to apply it to another subnet and maybe go in and edit it and make a necessary change, but rather than having to recreate the whole thing from scratch. But in any event, I didn't want to have to recreate the whole thing from scratch, but I did because that's what they told me to do. And in any event, it didn't solve the problem because the hiccuping kept happening. So I don't know how I got down to the conclusion of it, but what ended up being the problem and what ended up being the fix was a VPN server. And I say a VPN server because it happened with WireGuard, and it happened. I gave up on WireGuard. I got so frustrated at one point that I said, I'm going to OpenVPN. I've had OpenVPN working through the edge route. I'm going to go with OpenVPN. It doesn't matter to me as long as I can get in remote access when I'm away. Well, it happened with OpenVPN too. And then I really started to scratch my head and go, okay, so it's not WireGuard. I was starting to think maybe WireGuard was having a problem with dealing with two ISP streams and the failover. I didn't know. So, but what it turns out was, for whatever reason, the GCC does not like having with WAN failover in place. And I'm not sure if this is going to make any sense, but I could tell you by testing it that this is the case. With a VPN server set up on the primary ISP, WAN1, for example, it didn't like it. But if I set the VPN server up on the backup ISP, WAN2, it works flawlessly. So I'm not sure if that's a firmware, if that's a software glitch, and that's something that if more people report as the GCC becomes more popular, that they'll release a firmware update. I did update the ticket. I did tell them exactly that, and that they might want to bring it to the developmental team. They told me that they would discuss it internally. That, to me, I took it as a nice way of brushing me off. But in any event, that's what fixed the problem. And I don't know why, but as long as it's working for me, that's all that matters. So that's the short of the long. All right. Let's go look. David says maybe it's a session state timeout. Maybe. If they were Italian, he would have understood. But Greek? Anyway. So, folks, thank you so much for joining me on a spontaneous last-minute decision to go online and say, hey, let you all know, yes, I'm still alive and kicking, and hopefully maybe I'll do some more lives in the future, but this was fun for me. I got my new shirt, which happened to become my favorite shirt. It says, don't worry, I got this. I watched the YouTube video. My wife found it for me on some online site, and she's like, what do you think? I was like, grab it. So this was an opportunity to wear it. So that's the only preparation I did for this stream, was to make sure I had the shirt on. So in any event, thank you all so much for being here, and keep an eye out for any videos that I put out, and appreciate you sticking around, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care.